this lesson, we're going to experiment with how watercolor reacts with less water and more water. So all you're going to need is some watercolor paper, your favorite brush. I'm going to use this one I just picked up. It's number 10, and the angle shader is just kind of a thick one that I wanted to use because I knew that it would show up better. And whatever watercolors you have, I'm going to choose a blue. And what I'm going to do first, I'm just mixing. I dipped my brush in my water, and I'd already sprayed my palette. So I've got just a little bit of water in the well and a little bit of water on my brush, not a lot. But I'm saturating my brush. I'm trying to get as much on this brush as possible. So what I want to do is just paint a big blue box. I'm going to pull you in. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So this is with a minimum amount of water mixed in with the paint. So I am not going to dip my brush back into the paint. Instead, I'm going to just dip it in the water. I'm going to pull some of this pigment out of this box I've just painted. I'm trying to make that box the same size. It's a little bit bigger as my first box. So this is minimal water, and this is just a wee bit more. And I'm not going to dip my brush back in my paint, but I'm going to add a lot more water to my brush. And I'm just going to keep pulling it across. And hopefully you're starting to see the difference. This one is much darker. This one is still dark, but not as dark as the one with very little water. And then this one is even lighter. So same thing again. More water on my brush. I'm not dipping it in the paint. I'm just pulling the pigment across my page. And it's even lighter. So we're getting the dark value here, and as we add more water, this color gets lighter. And finally, I'm going to dip it in the water one more time. That one almost looks like it's the same as this. So how about if we just drag our brush across our page. Let's add a little bit more water. Ooh, I like that. I like them blending. So see all the different values you can get from just one color. We started with this really dark pigment. This is almost a navy blue. It's not looking in the camera like it looks in real life. This is actually called Prussian blue, and it's a brilliant blue. It has a little bit of turquoise that's not showing up in the camera. But grab you one color and experiment with it. If you want to, you can do the same with, let's grab this green. So that's with a minimal amount of water. Still have a little bit of blue in my brush, it looks like. And experiment with your colors, what it looks like as you add more water and less paint pigment. Now, one thing I want to encourage you to do is save all of the paper that you use in these lessons, because I love recycling papers that if I've painted on, watercolor paper. These would be great backgrounds for some of our acrylic paintings that we will do in another series. So even if you don't like it, save it, let it dry, and stack it together with some of your other paintings that you may not love, or just some of your practice paintings. And once we get to some lessons, I will tell you to grab them out of your stash. So you need a stash, not the kind of stash that grows up under your nose. Especially girls, we don't want stashes, but you need a stash of painted on watercolor paper. All right, so I will put the links to the supplies I used in this in the description box. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our next lessons.